As you well know, working to better the lives of others is what HPOG is all about. Today we are honored to have a woman who is going to share with us how she was able to achieve her childhood dream with the assistance of Project Help at Central Community College. Although she had times that were quite difficult, her tenacity helped her climb the healthcare ladder. It's my pleasure to present from Elgin, Nebraska, Angela Cuffey.
Thank you, Becky, for that wonderful introduction. Thank you all for having me. I'm very humbled and honored to be here today. So my success story begins. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. This quote by Winston Churchill rings true to me and my success. When I was in second grade, we took a field trip to one of the hospitals in Norfolk, Nebraska. We got to wear a nursing cap, and the boys got to wear the little headgear with the mirror on it. And ever since I put that cap on, I wanted to become a nurse. I've always enjoyed caring for others, and my dream was fueled when I was 16 years old. I became a certified nursing assistant at the age of 16. Using that license reaffirmed that my calling was to care for people, thus to become a nurse. I graduated from Newman Grove High School in 1996. In 1997, I got married at the age of 19, and a month later gave birth to my first child. I continued working as a CNA, and in 2003, I obtained my medication aid license from Central Community College and advanced my skills and income as working in both roles. In the 6-year time frame that I gained both licenses, I had 4 children. In 5 years, I left a domestically violent marriage. I was threatened with a knife with my husband. I was told I wouldn't amount to anything, and I was going to prove him wrong. So those are my 4 little children. They're not so little anymore. Despite my obstacles, I kept pushing through. In 2004, I decided it was time to advance my education and skills, not only to be able to financially support my children as a single parent, but also to pursue my long-term goal. I returned to higher education to accomplish the general education requirements for nursing and received an Associate of Arts degree in pre-professional nursing. In 2005, I started working full-time as a CNA medication aide at Clover Lodge Care Center in St. Ed, Nebraska. My next goal was to get accepted into a practical nursing program. My children and I would constantly talk about our finances, and I would give them pep talks as I continue to do so today when they feel times are tough for them and they feel like giving up. Never give up, I tell them. In 2007, I got remarried. I spent many years trying to get accepted into a nursing program. I was rejected numerous times by one specific college that I wanted to go to. So instead, giving up, I decided to try a different college. In 2010, I began the journey to LPN license with Central Community College. I was also dealing with one of my sons who had behavior issues that involved intervention by Boys Town. For those of you who don't know, Boys Town is a place where they help families deal with children who have behavior problems. My son was also a patient at Bryan LGA West in the child psych ward when he was dealing with suicidal thoughts. However, with all the obstacles that I faced in my life, I kept pushing forward. Plus, more struggles arose as we faced foreclosure on our home. So with everything else that was going on, we had to try to find a place to live. So in January of 2011, my days consisted of packing, going to classes, going to work, taking care of the kids, feeding them. And so my typical days started out at driving an hour and 15 minutes for class for a 6-hour lecture course. And then I'd have to go to clinical and prep for my next day and go home, drive back another hour and 15 minutes, get supper ready for the kids, help them with their homework, stay up and study on my homework, do paperwork, and do care maps and care plans for the next day's clinical. I'd mostly land in bed about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'd get up at 4 a.m. to do it all over again. I wouldn't change it for the world. So then the next day I would attend clinicals, an 8-hour post-conference, and then go home to more mom responsibilities. Some days I wanted to throw in the towel and give up. I spent many hours lying in my bed crying, thinking I couldn't do this anymore. I wanted to give up, but I thought, no, I've come this far, why give up now? So I had heard about Project Help from one of the case managers in 2011. Upon hearing about the scholarship opportunities, gas cards, technology, study guides, and support services that were offered, I knew that I would benefit from it since my family was trying to survive on very minimal, insufficient income, and I was driving 150 miles each day to attend class. I was also struggling with classes, and I wanted to grasp the opportunity to receive all the help that I could get to achieve my goal. I chose to apply, and I was enrolled in the program. I received all the services from Project Help that I had originally heard from, and then more. The additional Project Help services contributed to my success, from gas cards to guidance on how to handle struggles, providing referrals, and recommendations on how to handle classes and study tips, as well as just being there when I needed to vent or talk, which I did a lot of to my success coach. So thank you, Colin, for listening to me. Also, thanks to the resources I discovered, my sheer determination after 8 years of striving to become a nurse, I had finally made it. I even managed to maintain a 3.0 GPA in my LPN classes, receiving an A+ in strategies for LPN and practicum, which is an impressive feat without all the other challenges. In 2012, I walked across the stage and was pinned practical nursing graduate along with my other class. I could finally own the title LPN. Upon obtaining my LPN license, I was promoted to night shift charge nurse at Clover Lodge Care Center. With the assistance of Project Help, I know that I will continue to succeed in my nursing career. After all, they've gotten me to where I am today. Before the program, my life and job situation was pretty routine. I really wanted something more in the medical field. When I was feeling stressed and ready to give up, the program was there to keep me motivated and focused and encouraged me to continue on. The challenges, however, continued in my life and intensified by my second husband's addiction to alcohol. In the summer of 2012, my husband and I separated, and our marriage eventually ended. In 2014, I returned back to Central Community College to work on general education requirements for the Associate of Arts degree in the nursing program, with a goal of becoming an RN. After taking ANP1, Anatomy and Physiology, for those of you who don't know, multiple times, I could get there. I had passed it with a C, but you have to have a B in order to get into the RN program. So in the fall of 2014, I enrolled in ANP1 and I failed. And I decided to go a different route instead in the spring of 2015. So I took ANP1 and 2 together in 2 different towns. So I took ANP1 on Wednesdays in Grand Island, Nebraska, which is an hour and 45-minute drive for me. And then on Thursdays, I drove to Hastings, Nebraska, which is a 2-hour, 15-minute drive for me. So I was constantly on the road, but I knew one way or the other I was on a mission to get a B in the ANP1 and 2. So the gas cards that Project Help provided me was tremendous help. I didn't think I was going to be able to get to where I was going without the gas cards. Surprisingly, upon returning home from classes one evening, my life would take another turn and lead to a larger opportunity. God works in mysterious ways. I was reading the local newspaper and came across an advertisement for an administrator position at an assisted living facility. With 21 years experience in the healthcare field, I thought, why not shoot for the stars? Since I already had a career in healthcare that I loved, I felt like I had nothing to lose. I was called for an interview, and in February of 2015 began the next level in my career, accepting the position as LPN administrator at Prairie View Assisted Living. When I received the phone call, I accepted, I hung up the phone, and tears started falling. I couldn't believe that I set out to accomplish something this big, and I got it. I was beaming with joy. And there's my office. You know, when you start out as a CNA, you're always like, oh, the administrator's office. And now I'm one of them. So Although I had a job when I entered Project Help, I remember reviewing the job search project, and I find it fitting that one of Project Help's recommendations on utilizing your local networks and newspapers is exactly how I landed my current high-level position. I also feel assured that due to the strong employment support components of Project Help, when I do return to continue my education, Project Help will be there to provide guidance on searching out my next career opportunity, updating my resume and cover letter, and polishing my interview skills. On top of being administrator, I do continue to work as needed hours as an LPN at Clover Lodge Care Center to maintain my nursing skills and enjoy the family feel of the facility, as well as providing direct care to residents. In February of 2016, a blizzard hit, so I was called upon to stay at the facility, which is what administrators should be doing to make sure everything's running smoothly. So I cared for the residents, I made meals, I found a place to sleep, which consisted of me sleeping in the lobby for the first 2 hours, and then I moved the couch to my office because I couldn't sleep in the lobby. And I even got a chance to work out, because up and down the halls, you know, you work out. So along with me and my staff, we hung out and we watched movies, and so I have a pretty good staff that they stayed there. Additionally, on September 12th, Prairie View Assisted Living partnered with a local zoo to bring animals to the facility. I really enjoyed seeing the joy on the residents' faces as they watched or petted the parrot, monkey, lizard, lemur, and more. It was a great day had by all. My life has changed since starting my healthcare journey from struggles to success. I have 3 main components. I have increased knowledge of the healthcare role and the ethics of being a nurse, control over finances along with a sense of security and self-sufficiency, and increased personal confidence. Also, my character reflects on my nursing career in that being who you are and how you act outside the facility reflects on who you are as a nurse as well. Financially, due to the increase of pay as an assisted living administrator, I am proud to be able to provide for my children more securely without concerns of daily living expenses such as shelter, food, clothing, and heat. I used to have to charge groceries at the local grocery store just so we can make ends meet until payday. I'm so grateful I don't have to do that anymore. Knowing that every day is a challenge that I'm willing to take on for anything that gets thrown at me, I feel like I'm a stronger person and I connect better with my residents, their care team, and their families. Even after 2 failed marriages, raising 4 children on my own, failed classes, and many tears, I can honestly say that fighting my way up to become a nurse was the best decision that I have ever made. Looking back when money was at an all-time low for me and my children, making only $5,000 the whole year of 2005, to now making and on government assistance. So we were on food stamps and we were on Medicaid, which was something that I wasn't proud of, but I am truly grateful that the programs were there to help people like me. To now making over $50,000 a year, I beam with pride. A few of my most rewarding moments were making each step up the educational ladder. As you can see, I have the ladder there. I was a CNA. I went from CNA to Med-Aid, from Med-Aid to LPN, and from LPN to administrator. I am proud of the following: achieving full capacity for my facility for the first time since it opened in 2013, and doing it in under a year of my position as administrator. I also have been elected secretary for the Northeast District of the Nebraska Assisted Living Association, and I was awarded the position of the Licensed Practical Nurse Association of Nebraska Regional Ambassador for the Nebraska Region 3 area, which serves 4 counties in the state of Nebraska. I also commend my children as they reach for higher education in their lives. My daughter Lisa is a sophomore at Wayne State College who is majoring in vocal music performance. My son Austin is a senior at Elgin High School. He was just accepted into Northeast Community College. He plans on majoring in auto mechanics. My daughter Shelby is a junior at Elgin High School, and my son Irvin is a sophomore at Elgin High School. I always tell my kids, no dream is ever too small. The sky is the limit. You can be whatever you want to be and do whatever you want to do. All you have to do is believe. I also have a wonderful man in my life who supports my success. So thank you, Rich, for being a part of my support system. But my story is not complete. The next step for me is to continue to advance my skills in education. I do plan to return to Central Community College for the 5th time and conquer the general education requirements needed to attend a university BSN program. My dream is to one day work at Omaha Children's Hospital or at St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital as a pediatric oncology nurse. When I look back on my life and where I was and the situations I have been in and what I've accomplished, it makes me proud to know that if you want to accomplish something, you can. All you have to do is have faith and put your mind to it. I truly believe that everything happens for a reason. And if it wasn't for all the struggles that I had to deal with in my life, I wouldn't be here today. So I am truly grateful for the assistance I received from the Project Help and my success coach from Central Community College. I am just one of the many lives that have been changed by the HPOG grant, and I appreciate the work that you do. Thank you for your support and assistance. So I leave you with this. No matter what obstacles you face in your life, know that if you focus and keep a positive attitude, you can accomplish anything. Thank you. Sorry, I guess there's questions.
Yeah, sorry. So we're going to make her answer questions. If you have questions for her, she's agreed to answer questions. So I'll get one started, and then if others have one, feel free to jump up to the mic. But first, just thank you for sharing your story. It's an amazing and inspiring story. And, you know, I guess one of the things that I think that programs ask sometimes of their participants is to come back and talk to other participants. People maybe who haven't signed up for the program or expressed interest, or maybe they're just starting out. So I guess the one question I would start with is just what would you tell people who are considering going into the program, or maybe in that very first beginning stage where you're like, wow, that's a long ways away. Those steps are a long ways away. What would you tell them?
I would just tell them, just go ahead and apply. I mean, you have nothing to lose if you do apply. I mean, it is a process, but look where it could get you, you know? I mean, gas cards, wow, you know? Instead of 20 bucks in the gas tank, you could use $20 for diapers or groceries or whatever. You know, I mean, just kind of think of it as a trade-off. But the enrollment process is definitely worth it. So that's what I would definitely tell them. It's kind of like a scholarship thing, you know? I mean, oh gosh, I gotta fill out all the scholarships. But it's like, well, really? Would you rather shell out the money on your own, or would you rather have the scholarship to help? So I tell my kids. Any other questions?
Feel free to go to the mic if there's other questions.
Yes.
So you shared some struggles you had and were very open about, well, I hate to use the word failures or setbacks. What do you think about, what was it about you or the program or your kids or whatever that kept you going?
Faith.
Faith?
Faith.
Was that your biggest, yeah?
Faith, and the mere fact that this was my goal. I wanted to be a nurse, and nothing was going to stand in my way, whether it was a domestic marriage, whether it was no money, no babysitter, thank God for grandparents. But I was not, you know, it took me 8 years to become a nurse, in which some people take only 2 years to be a nurse, you know, and you don't know how many times I would sit there and I would kind of get a little jealous stint going on, because here's all these other girls, you know, getting their nursing degree, and I haven't even gotten the program yet. But I'm like, I'm a true believer in gratefulness and faithfulness, and you just got to keep pushing. You know, you never, ever, ever, ever give up. never give up.
Sorry for being a mic hog, y'all. Wanted to know, we keep talking about this two-generation approach, and I think we're struggling to find the ways that is feasible for us to help the children just as much as we help the parents. What ways could you identify that we could be of assistance to the children of the customers in which we're serving?
That's a good question. I don't know. I guess I think I would go back to whether it's the scholarships or the gas cards, you know, because like I said, with using the gas cards, I keep mentioning the gas cards because I used them a lot. I used them a lot. So like I said, so instead of utilizing that $20, $30, $40 that goes in the gas tank, you could use it for diapers, you could use it for the formula, you could use it for daycare or anything like that to help with the kids, I guess if you want to think of it that way.
Your journey's been incredible.
Thank you.
Question is, how do you tell your story to your kids, especially when you have to spend the kind of hours that you do on the road, in school, at work, away? How do you pull it off?
You know, they're older now, so they're rarely home. Me and my youngest, we're huge football fans, so we like bond a lot with football, but go Huskers. Back then, it just tried to, you know, I guess I had a balance. I balanced, I had a routine. I work on a system, and so if my system gets screwed up, then I don't like that very well. But it's like, okay, this time, because like a lot of times if I was sitting down doing my homework, they were with me doing their homework. Or if I was doing my homework and they had a question, they'd come downstairs and I'd take 5 or 10 minutes and I would help them with their homework or whatever. Like I said, my parents helped out a lot, especially when they were really little, back in 2004 when I started this journey, and so they helped out a lot, and so I would take the kids to my mom and dad. We lived in the same town, so they would take them to school, and then I would pick them up from school, and then so on and so forth. Now we have, you know, technology where you have Skype or where you have FaceTime or something like that. So, but we've been emailing back and forth this week, and my daughter's actually watching now. So, hello. But yeah, I think it's all a sense of balance and routine. I mean, it's just that's how they adapted. And that's how I adapted, especially with being a single mom, raising them all on my own, with them being so close together in age. There were many tears. There were many stressful nights. There was some yelling going on because people, tension gets high. And mom needs to study, and they need to study, but they also need attention. So then that's where my tears of stress came in, and that's when a lot of prayers came in, because I was like, that's when the throwing in the towel and wanting to quit came in, because I was like, I can't do this. I'm trying to study, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and I believe he said, no, you're not quitting. And being, taking care of the elderly for 20-some years, it's all I know.
So do you find sometimes that you're finding women, now that you're an administrator and you've gotten up there, do you find yourself seeing other young ladies coming into CNAs who are going through the same struggles, and maybe not in your own facility, because I understand there's a need to separate some of those
Yes.
things, but what kind of advice are you able to give some of those women? Because they are, for our clients, many of the same kind of struggles that you faced, they are facing. And do they know your story and how you got to where you are?
Some people know my story. Being from a small community, everybody knows your story, unfortunately. But some of the young girls that I've spoke to, I'm like, you got 20 minutes. Let's sit down and chat, because here's what you could do. I'm living proof that you can be clear at the bottom and work your way up. And I think that gives me a sense of more gratitude because of that, because sometimes when you step in that role and you just, want to get to the top right away, and some people do get to the top right away, I don't think you're as grateful for what you, especially from an administrator standpoint. I appreciate the CNAs and the med aides and the LPNs, because I was there. I was on the floor. I was working short. I was, cleaning up all sorts of stuff. I was in the trenches, and some administrators never were in the trenches, and so they have no idea what it's like. And so I can relate to the CNAs that come in and, they're struggling, or they're a one-parent income household, and so I do tell my story on those who have questions regarding how they can manage. Actually, I have one particular employee now who is working on getting her medication aid, and I told her, that, about the project, and our facility does pay for medication aids classes, so they can get their medication aids, so they can utilize that in our facility, because it is a demanding job. But I always utilize the HPOG and the project help, because that's how I got to where I am. Okay, thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, thank you again to both of our afternoon speakers. And whether surprisingly or not, we are now at the end of our 2 days. Before everyone departs, again, thank you for your all's involvement in this program, in the 2 days that we've had. You guys have had so much. You've brought so much to the program, to these 2 days, to sharing with each other. So thank you for that. And obviously, as many have done, and we will do again and again, thank you for your work. And Stan. Probably.
So thanks for turning on the mic. So some of you know me, and there's probably some that don't. My name is Stan Kautstall, and I am the Division Director for Tribal TANF Management and Regional Operations, which means I'm doing a lot of work with the Tribal TANF team and with our regional program managers in OFA. But I am the former HPOG program manager, and I just wanted to highlight one other HPOG success story before things are wrapped up today. And that is that, and it's not a mystery and it's not a surprise because you already know. It was a privilege for me to serve as the program manager for 5+ years for HPOG, kind of from the inception of the program, the first funding opportunity announcement to about 6 months or so ago. And part of my responsibilities included hiring the team that was going to carry it out. And one of the people that I got to hire was Kim Stupika Dobbs. It wasn't Stupika Dobbs at the time, it was Kim Stupika. So one husband and one child later, plus a whole lot of HPOG experience, really prepared her well to serve as the HPOG program manager. This is the first conference that I have not been a part of. I didn't have a hand in selecting any speakers, although I did see the TED Talk and Dr. Terrell Strayhorn. And he's a YouTube sensation if you want to go back and check out other videos of his. But the work is continuing at a very high level of quality, and staff are continuing to be trained well and prepared to serve you and for hopefully a long federal career. And so I just wanted to pause to acknowledge the incredible work that Kim has done and provide you with the chance to thank Kim and acknowledge her for providing the leadership that she is for HPOG.
Thank you very much. And it really is an honor to be the program manager and just see the amazing work that is happening. I was telling someone the other day, I think I've told a few of this, but Stan was first hired and then I was the second hired, and it was like second week on the job, it was, we need to call all 32 grantees, and I was like, okay, great, I know how to do that. Well, so, yeah, so it's 6 years later, and I think I might have figured out a few pieces. So, well, and again, so thank you for everything. I just wanted to also, just kind of moving forward, we in the program office, Kalia, Priscilla, myself, and hopefully this has been demonstrated, but we are always here for questions, concerns, technical assistance requests. Hey, I have a question about X. I think, I want to try to do something different. Do you have any ideas? Even if we don't have the ideas, we might be able to get you connected with someone. And so we really do believe we are a partner in this, and so we do take that very seriously, and that's what we want to be. So thank you for everything. And then I just had a couple kind of housekeeping things, of course. So I will ask you, please turn in your Fun Green Day 2 evaluation forms. If you have TA request form, those are the blue ones as a reminder, and then finally that branding questionnaire in your packets. We would love to get that information. Just as as another note, we do take that very, very seriously. We do try to make sure that these meetings are as useful and time sensitive as possible. And again, all of our presentations and everything will be online, and you can feel free to get those and download those as well and share. And then the streaming sessions have also been recorded, so you're more than welcome to use those.